Thanks for tuning in. Muscle cars from the year 1968 have gone down in history as some of the most iconic vehicles ever produced. In this episode, we'll discuss the 15 fastest quarter-mile cars from 1968. Stay tuned and be sure to hit that like button and subscribe to our channel as we get into the countdown. Number 15. Ford Mustang Shelby GT 500 KR, 13.9 seconds. Carroll Shelby partnered with Ford in 1965 to create special editions of the Mustang, and by 1968, they had already produced several versions, with the GT 500 KR, which stood for King of the Road, being the top-tier Mustang variant. In 1968, Shelby only designed 1,571 units with a potent 428 cubic inch V8 engine that produced 335 horsepower and 440 pound-feet of torque. This 428 Cobra jet engine was an improved version of Ford's standard 428 engine, and it featured enhanced cylinder heads, crankshaft, and an air induction system. The engine was mated to a 4-speed manual transmission, which helped the car run the quarter mile in 13.9 seconds and finish at 105 miles per hour. Number 14. Plymouth GTX Hemi, 13.85 seconds. In 1968, Plymouth wanted to carve out a significant share of the auto market. As such, the production team developed the GTX and introduced it as a gentleman's muscle car, which was positioned as a high-performance, well-equipped car. The 1968 GTX, with its redesigned body, more aggressive styling, and Hemi engine, was the jaw-dropper of the year. The 426 cubic inch Hemi V8 produced 425 horsepower and 490 pound-feet of torque, and was mated to a 4-speed manual transmission known for enhancing robust performance and an engaging driving experience. The 68 GTX featured upgraded suspension components and a reinforced chassis, which provided better handling and high-speed stability. It recorded a 13.85-second quarter-mile pass while traveling at 104 miles per hour. Number 13. Chevy Nova SS 396 L78, 13.85 seconds. The Chevy Nova was launched in 1962 as a compact car, but the 1968 model year marked the introduction of a lighter body style with a powerful big block engine, creating a potent package that appealed to muscle car enthusiasts and drag racers alike. The L78 option was the top-tier performance engine available for the Nova in 1968, and it would give other muscle cars of the year like the Ford Mustang and the Dodge Charger a run for their money. The 396 cubic inch engine roared under the Nova SS hood, producing 375 horsepower and 415 pound-feet of torque. It was mated to a 4-speed manual transmission that helped run the quarter mile in 13.85 seconds, traveling at 104 miles per hour. Number 12. Oldsmobile Cutlass W31, 13.85 seconds. Back in the 60s, Oldsmobile had already established a reputation for performance with the 442 model. However, the GM division wanted to develop a package that would appeal to younger buyers who wanted performance without the high costs and insurance premiums of the 442's larger 400 cubic inch engine. John Belts and Lloyd Gill, influential Oldsmobile engineers at the time, got into the work and developed the Cutlass W31 with a smaller 350 cubic inch V8 that produced 320 horsepower and 390 pound-feet of torque. The engine featured a high-lift crankshaft, which allowed for better airflow and higher speeds. Mated with a 4-speed manual transmission, the engine propelled the car to run a quarter mile in 13.85 seconds, traveling at 107.8 miles per hour. Number 11. Mercury Cyclone GT, 13.84 seconds. Towards the end of the 60s, Ford was manufacturing high-performance muscle cars like the Mustangs. However, it established a division, Mercury, to manufacture mid-sized muscle cars that would leverage its involvement in NASCAR racing. Larry Shinoda and Bill Strop, together with other team members, developed the Mercury Cyclone GT with a restyled body that was more aerodynamically enhanced. This time, Mercury intended to compete with Ford's top competitor, the Plymouth Roadrunner. Under the 68 Mercury Cyclone GT hood roared the 428 Cobra jet engine, producing 335 horsepower and 445 pound-feet of torque. It featured performance cylinder heads, camshafts, exhaust manifolds, and a dual-feed Holley. The engine was mated to a 4-speed manual transmission that allowed drivers to fully exploit the power. In the 1968 Daytona 500, Cale Yarborough drove the car and ran the quarter mile in 13.84 seconds at 101.7 miles per hour. Number 10. Pontiac GTO Royal Bobcat, 13.8 seconds. The 1968 Pontiac GTO Royal Bobcat was manufactured to offer a high-performance, dealer-tuned version of the already potent GTO. It was modified by Royal Pontiac, a dealership in Royal Oak, Michigan known for its performance tuning expertise. The Royal Bobcat would transform into a true street and strip monster. gaining legendary status among muscle car enthusiasts. Under the hood was the 428 cubic inch V8 that produced 425 horsepower and 465 pound-feet of torque. This engine wasn't officially offered in the GTO. Rather, the Royal Pontiac, in conjunction with Pontiac, swapped out the 68 GTO stock 400 cubic inch engine for a 428 V8. Royal also modified the GTO's front and rear suspension to allow it to launch even more effectively. Featuring a 4-speed manual transmission, the GTO Royal Bobcat could thunder down a quarter-mile stretch in 13.8 seconds, having traveled at 104.4 miles per hour. Number 9. Pontiac Firebird 400 Ram Air 2, 13.79 seconds. The Pontiac Firebird, first introduced in 1967, quickly gained popularity as a stylish and powerful muscle car. For 1968, Pontiac sought to enhance the Firebird's performance credentials even further by offering the Ram Air 2 package. The 1968 Pontiac Firebird 400 Ram Air 2 featured a high-performance 400 cubic inch V8 engine with advanced engineering for improved power and speed. They called it the Ram Air because of its cold air induction system that allowed it to gulp outside air through its hood vents into the carburetor. The 400 V8 was officially rated at 340 horsepower and 230 pound-feet of torque, but Pontiac had some interesting engineering that could be altered to increase its power. Horsepower could be increased to 366 by removing a tab on the throttle linkage that limited the carburetor's secondary opening to 90% of the maximum. Pontiac did this to ensure the horsepower readings complied with the GM's 10-to-1 weight to horsepower ratio at that time. The car finished the quarter mile in 13.79 seconds at 106 miles per hour. Number 8. Chevy Camaro Z28, 13.77 seconds. To establish a strong presence in the racing community and capitalize on the growing popularity of the Camaro, Chevy developed the Z28 package. The model was aimed at making the Camaro competitive in the SCCA Trans Am series, which had a displacement limit of 305 cubic inches. A 302 cubic inch engine roared under the Z28's hood, rated at 290 horsepower and 290 pound-feet of torque. Gearheads later discovered it was underrated as it actually produced 350 horsepower and 330 pound-feet of torque. In addition to the engine, the limited slip differential and stiffened-up suspension setup made it ideal for launching off a standing start, allowing it to record a strong 13.77-second quarter-mile sprint, having traveled 107.4 miles per hour. Are you ready for our top 7 fastest quarter-mile cars of 1968? Be sure to like and subscribe to our channel, which helps us create more episodes. Okay, back to the countdown. Number 7. Oldsmobile 455, 13.71 seconds. The 1968 Oldsmobile Hurst Olds 455 was manufactured as a high-performance vehicle to compete with other muscle cars like the Dodge Charger RT and Shelby GT. The project was a collaboration between Oldsmobile and Hurst Performance, a well-known maker of shifters and performance parts. The manufacturing began when Doc Watson, who worked for Hurst, approached Oldsmobile with the idea of creating a special high-performance version of the Oldsmobile 442. Thankfully, Jack made this move when Oldsmobile was interested in boosting its performance image, so his idea became an excellent opportunity for the division. The 1968 Hurst Olds 455 featured a 455 cubic inch engine producing 390 horsepower and 500 pound-feet of torque. This potent engine was mated to a 3-speed turbo-hydromatic automatic transmission with a Hurst dual-gate shifter that helped it record a 13.71-second quarter-mile pass at 102 miles per hour. Number 6. Chevy Biscayne 427 L72, 13.65 seconds. The 1968 Chevy Biscayne 427 L72 is one of the well-known sleeper cars. It was part of Chevy's regular lineup. Actually, an entry-level full-size car typically equipped with a modest engine could be used as taxi cabs or police departments. Chevy also offered the powerful 427 cubic inch engine as an option, creating a sleeper car, a vehicle with unexpectedly high performance. The L72 427 cubic inch V8 produced 425 horsepower and 460 pound-feet of torque. It featured a solid lifter crankshaft, which enhanced high RPM performance. Additionally, it had a large 4-barrel carburetor, which helped feed the engine's substantial appetite for air and fuel, and this is actually what made this vehicle a legendary muscle car. The engine was mated to either a 4-speed manual or a 3-speed automatic transmission, which helped to finish the quarter mile in 13.65 seconds at 105 miles per hour. Number 5. Chevy Malibu SS L78, 13.6 seconds. The SS package was introduced in 1966, and by 1968, It had become a well-established performance option. The 1968 Chevy Malibu SS was part of the Chevelle series, but was ranked a higher trim level with even more performance upgrades. The car was named after Malibu, California, a coastal city known for its beautiful beaches and affluent lifestyle. The Malibu boasted a potent L78 396 cubic inch engine that produced 375 horsepower and 415 pound-feet of torque. The engine had a solid lifter camshaft, an 11:1 compression ratio, and a large 4-barrel Holley carburetor, which helped supply the necessary air and fuel mixture for a strong punch. It was mated to a 3-speed manual transmission that enabled it to run the quarter mile in 13.6 seconds at 105 miles per hour. Number 4. Ford Mustang 428 Cobra Jet, 13.56 seconds. The 1968 Ford Mustang 428 Cobra Jet was a high-performance variant of the popular Ford Mustang. The car was actually rushed into production in April 1968 in response to the increasing demand for more powerful Mustangs and to compete with rivals like the Chevy Camaro SS396 and Plymouth Barracuda. Ford Motor Company introduced its all-new 428 cubic inch Cobra Jet engine during the year, rating it at 335 horsepower and 445 pound-feet of torque. This potent 428 offered a huge leap in power over the smaller 390 V8, which was the top Mustang engine from 1967. The engine featured high-flow cylinder heads, adapted from the 427 engine to improve breathing and power output. It also had a large 4-barrel carburetor and an oil cooler to help manage engine temperatures during high-performance use. The 1968 Ford Mustang 428 Cobra Jet ran the quarter mile in 13.56 seconds at 106 miles per hour. Number 3. Dodge Charger RT Hemi, 13.5 seconds. When Dodge unveiled the freshly restyled Charger in 1968, it was a natural move to offer a fortified RT muscle car variant. Sure, the Charger RT Hemi was a high-performance muscle car that combined striking design with formidable power, and this was a great way to mark the second generation of the Charger. The 426 Hemi could produce 425 horsepower with 490 pound-feet of torque and was mated to a 4-speed manual transmission. The car ran the quarter mile in 13.5 seconds at 105 miles per hour. Number 2. Mercury Cougar XR7 GT 428, 13.43 seconds. The Cougar was Mercury's more upscale version of the Ford Mustang, introduced in 1967. The 1968 model year saw the introduction of the 428 Cobra Jet engine option, which made the Cougar a high-performance luxury muscle car that combined elegance with raw power. The 428 Cobra Jet engine produced 335 horsepower and 445 pound-feet of torque, and was mated to a 4-speed manual transmission. This made the car run a best of 13.43 seconds at 103.4 miles per hour in the quarter mile. Number 1. Chevy Corvette 427 L88, 13.3 seconds. The 1968 Chevy Corvette 427 L88 was an ultra-high-performance version of the Corvette, representing the pinnacle of Chevy's performance engineering at the time. It was the first year for the redesign of the iconic Corvette as a transition from its C2 body to the Mako Shark concept car-inspired C3 version. On the other hand, it was the second year for the L88 engine after its introduction in 1967. The engine was rated at 430 horsepower and 475 pound-feet of torque, but word has it that it actually offered around 560 horsepower. At the time, the L88 was discouraged for street driving because it lacked the choke for cold starts and required 103-octane racing fuel for its compression aluminum cylinder head engine. With a 4-speed manual transmission, the 68 Corvette devoured the quarter mile in 13.3 seconds at 108 miles per hour, making it number 1 on our list. Thanks for watching. Which of these fastest 68 quarter-mile muscle cars is your favorite? Share your thoughts in the comment section below. Also, please subscribe to our channel and don't forget to click the like button and hit the bell icon to be notified when we release new content.